Welcome, Dave Conord. I'm so excited you're with Craig and I today.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So for those of you that don't know Dave, Dave was our president at EXP Realty and still majorly involved in EXP and our future. So it's awesome to have you. Craig, you want to give a little background?
Yeah, so we're super excited to have Dave here today. Dave was a former KW regional director. He's a franchise owner at KW, as a VP leadership development at Long & Foster. And then we were lucky enough to have him as president of growth here at EXP. Two-part question, Dave. We'll go right into it. Talk to us a little bit about how you got to EXP. What was that journey like, and what did you see from afar before getting here? And then, you've since retired from that position, but you're still here at EXP. Obviously, you saw some kind of opportunity.
Wrong side.
Right?
My screen's reversed.
You saw some kind of opportunity to stay here with all of your background and accolades. So, maybe talk about why you did that as well. But maybe start with your journey.
Sure. Yeah, sure thing. So fun to hang out with you guys. Love you guys and everything that you've been doing. And so glad to be able to spend some time with you. It was pretty cool. The path, I think, maybe God takes you down a path and prepares you along the way to be in the right place at the right time. And I've been really blessed to do a lot of fun things with some great companies and some great people. In my last gig, during kind of towards the end, the wrap up time of that, if you will, I was introduced by my good friend Gene Frederick to Glenn Sanford, who's the founder and CEO of EXP, and this is his brainchild, right?
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by Glenn and by his concept, and back then it was still a really small company, right? It was went from a couple hundred to a couple thousand, and over that time I got to watch the company growing as they were working and putting new things into place. And Glenn would share his vision. And I was really blessed to have some time just to hang with him. When he would come to the East Coast, I would drive up to New York City and meet him in the city. We spent a lot of time on the phone late at night. Of course, he's out in the Pacific Northwest. And so he would call, we'd be late in the evening, and I would go outside. My family would be asleep, and I'd pace the deck and out back, and we would talk about all the cool stuff that could happen with this company and how it's impacting things already and how it's changing things and what Glenn's vision is. And what's neat is while there was a lot of room for creativity and for agility as we grew as a company. This stuff is not by accident. What you're seeing is not like we just kind of threw a seed in the ground and weren't sure what we were getting. He really knew and had the vision. And I think that's part of the success of the company, is having a great visionary who is very smart and understands things and really gets the industry and gets the people and has that vision of what could be already in his head. We got a chance to go use that platform and go build on that platform. But that was thrilling to me. And so it got to the point where I think it was Jay Kinder that initiated the once you see it, you can't unsee it quote, right? And it's really true. And it was just embedded in my brain. And I found myself, even though no ties to the company, up at night thinking of things that we could do and how the company's going to impact things and where it's going to go. And I couldn't. So when I finally wrapped up my responsibilities with that last company that I was with, I literally, shook hands, and we were done. And as I drove away, I called Gene and said, "I'm joining the company. I'm coming on board today." And it was the trajectory of the company, the way I knew that it was going to impact the industry, for decades to come. I really saw that it was the future of the industry, and I thought it was just so great for agents, such an amazing platform, that I couldn't imagine agents not seeing it and wanting to, and that we impact a lot of people and change a lot of lives and help a lot of people. So I jumped in, and then I was blessed for Glenn to call me at one point and say, "Hey, you want to jump into a leadership role?" So I came over as an agent, right? I came over to do now what I'm doing now, and got a chance to do that. And it's so much fun to work alongside a tremendous leadership team at EXP, an amazing group of human beings, great heartbeat. Really collaborative, working together, smart people. Really, able to bring in some really, really good talent, and so much fun. Just fun building it. It was crazy. We went from it was just over 10,000 agents when I finally came on board. I was actually in New York with Glenn one time before joining when the company hit 6,000 agents, and he showed me his cell phone. He goes, "Look, we just hit 6,000." I understand now he was showing me his back office enterprise, and so we were just over 10,000 agents, and then we passed 70,000 agents in less than 3 years, and it's pretty big growth. It was a lot of fun. The company was worth somewhere I think between 200 million or something.
Yeah. Pretty big growth. It's never been done before. No company's growing from 10,000 to 70,000 agents in 3 years.
Well, you had a huge part to do with that, Dave.
Yeah.
And I mean, what are some of the things like kind of, being on the inside that like sparked that? I mean, of course, leadership is a big thing, but what are some of the things that really sparked that explosion? I know we were on weekly calls. I know, leading leaders and that type of thing, but elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think the real magic is an understanding that businesses, we teach agents this. So we've been teaching agents this on how to go grow their sales business, right? It's relationship based, and take care of your people. You have a, new agent. I love teaching and coaching new agents and helping them start something and watching them build into a successful agent down the road. And it's the, okay, you got to go out and get the business. You have to explain what you do. You have to understand what that USP, right? That unique selling proposition. What makes you different? Why should people work with you instead of the other, 1.2 million agents out there? So you have to have that. You have to have what sets you apart and why are you unique and why is that important? But beyond that, you then, if you get one client, right, then treat them like gold, take great care of them, be really good at what you're doing, and they will use you again next time, right? Continue to stay in touch with them and continue to care for them and provide value, but they'll refer you to others. And then down the road, maybe whether it's their kid or their parents or their friend, whatever that ends up using them. So many agents that say, "Hey, it's so fun now that I'm starting to sell my kids' houses," right? Mm-hmm. And it's because and you cared for them. And so as a parent, you go, now my kid's going to buy their first house. I wouldn't let them do it with anyone but you because I know you care. Right. And that's, you build that, you have a reputation that you build for a person that helps people succeed in achieving their goals in buying or selling houses, building a great life for themselves. It's such a key pivotal time for people. And so that understanding of that's how you build a great business. How you initiate that initial lead is there's lots of ways to generate leads, but once you have the lead, what you do with it from there really determines the growth trajectory of your business. And so for EXP, we use Net Promoter Score, right? NPS. And we are constantly asking our agents how we're doing. What's so cool about the growth at EXP is that we have no one on staff paid to recruit. There's not a single paid recruiter in the company that is an employee. It is 100% organic agent word of mouth. Now, our agents are rewarded financially for helping the company grow. They get a piece of the revenue that's generated when they help the company grow. But I will tell you, that if an agent is unhappy or they're uncertain, they are not going to go out on a limb and ruin their own reputation to just because they make money off of it. Right. They will not go out and say, you should come to EXP, it's great, if they don't believe in it. And to be honest, pretty soon they're going to leave. So part of our growth rate is because our retention has been extremely high. So, agents, it's not that no one ever leaves, but by and large, we have some of the best retention in the entire industry. And so the net number grows faster when you have fewer people leaving out the back door, right? And then we're attracting people in because our agents are enthusiastic. They believe in it. They feel like the company cares. The company's helping them succeed and giving them a great opportunity. And so they talk about it. And then on the other side, you've got the what I've always referred to as the when Harry met Sally moment. Remember the scene? I'll have what she's having, right? If you've seen the movie, you can't forget the scene.
We're showing our age, Dave. We're showing our age.
Yeah, I know exactly. A bunch of people in here that go, I've never seen that movie. Wasn't that back in the 80s? So, but that scene, that is where if we're having fun, right? As that was Gene's, making real estate fun again. If we're having fun and people are succeeding in that, not only their businesses, because you can go succeed in your business at other real estate companies, right, but there isn't an overall opportunity platform like EXP anywhere in the industry. And so when people can come in and build great relationships and be successful in real estate, and while they're doing what they're normally doing, they're doing it in a really cool collaborative environment. So they're succeeding and having fun with others, but they're earning stock and they have the opportunity for revenue share. They're building wealth. They're building a platform to where they can then turn around and help others, which that's just kind of a life thing. To enjoy your life, pouring into others and watching others succeed is something that is joy, makes it fun. So we've created a place where people can do that, and they can have an exit strategy where it's not about quitting. It's not about getting out of selling houses. Right. It's about being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. It's having the freedom to say, when I stop selling houses, I can afford to do it. And my life after sales can be great, right? From a financial standpoint and worry standpoint, I can pour into others. I can give back. I can do other things. I have the flexibility to make decisions where, if you have to keep doing it to put food on your table, that's what do they say? What do you call a realtor's retirement party?
We don't have any.
A funeral. A funeral. You don't want to go out of your last open house toes up. I'm telling you, so get some enjoyment out. So I think that's the secret to the growth, Craig. To answer your question, is just that when you create an environment like that, agents are enthusiastic. Our growth is pure connection, word of mouth. And that happens when we take care of the agents and help them build a great business and build a great life and a place where they feel like they belong. That is very inclusive, that creates opportunity. And I mean, just like anything else, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. But the platform is there to go do amazing things, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What I always loved about your leadership style was you always you let people rise up, and that this company creates an environment where leaders can rise up. You're not chosen, you're not given a position. You're not given a title. You earn that title, and and it's where you show up, you get to be your best self. So you never have a ceiling. There's no stopping anyone in the company.
Yeah. I mean, I look at what you guys have accomplished, how many lives you both have changed, and how you've poured into the industry and into people and created opportunities for others to then be able to do the same thing and build great, successful lives. And, I've actually got that question a lot, is how do you, when you're developing your own organization and you're building something and you're building your business, how do I get my leaders to step up, or how do I identify my leaders in my organization to help them go build something? And, my response has been, through what I've seen and learned, is that, you don't. Your leaders already see themselves, as leaders. They want to come in. I mean, nobody came in and said, "Hey, you guys, you're the chosen ones." Nobody put the sword on your shoulders and whatever and said, "All right, go do this now. I have given you this job to go do." You guys came in and saw the opportunity, and leaders step up. And there's room for everybody. But if you are a leader in as a person, this is a platform where you can come in and build that. All of the folks that we look to now as leaders, they came in. Everybody it's a level playing field. Everyone's an agent, and you have the chance to build what you want to build on the platform. And if you love to lead others, which is really helping others succeed, you got a chance to do it at a big level here.
Yeah, you can really. Sorry, Craig.
No, I just said I believe this company gives the perfect platform for that. Throughout the whole company, throughout the different organizations. I know we see it a lot in our impact organization. There are people that just rise up because the platform is there, because we as a group have created that platform within our organization. I'm sure other organizations like yours, Dave, do the same thing. And it just gives them that perfect platform. I like the saying that Brent says from time to time, is start a fire in the basement. And that is, going, there might be someone that has a great skill within your organization that is kind of just sitting in the corner being quiet, and you just got to give them that opportunity and that platform, and they rise up and they, bring 10 other people up with them. It's just a perfect platform for that.
Yeah, I think, true leaders don't create followers, right? I mean, that's an egomaniac, right? A true leader builds other leaders, and they're looking for other leaders. They're not afraid of being diminished by other people rising up and succeeding. they're actually seeking that and actively encouraging people to say, hey, when that leader in you emerges, let me help you develop it. Let me help you build it.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun to watch everybody grow, and I get the most enjoyment. I know Craig feels the same way. I know you do, Dave, because like you've helped us so much. I mean, I've leaned on your shoulder, like, hey, and you've always been there and taken the call, probably when it was not convenient, because you wanted everybody to win with you. And that's like, to be aligned with someone like yourself. I was so excited. Like, Dave, I got to know you as a person. I was like, I get to run with like the best leader. I used to brag about you to people. I'm like, Dave Conord's our president, and I'm like, they're like, no idea what that means, but I'm like, you don't understand, this man's amazing.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, and the feeling is definitely mutual. I mean, that is one of the coolest things. Is it's such an amazing group. I mean, the calls that we, and we still get to do them on a regular basis. Now I'm hanging with everybody, but it was being able to get together and it was just, it wasn't a bunch of egos at the table. It was a bunch of people that really were looking for the best ways to help build the company and to help others, and understanding that the way to build the company is to help other people succeed. So just constantly turning the puzzle around and trying to say, hey, what's the next best way that we can really create opportunity for people? The more people that are winning, the more we all win. And I think that's the coolest part about the model.
Absolutely. What was the most surprising when you joined the company? What was the most surprising attribute? Like what came as a surprise to you when you joined? I mean, you at least had like a vision. You walk in your deck and you're excited, and we all did that and lost sleep and called it the sleepless company. That's what they should have named it.
Insomnia is what they.
Yeah, EXP Omnia. Yeah. So, but knowing that, but when you got in, what was like your biggest surprise as being the president of the company, and what was that like?
Man, all right. So I had a couple of big surprises, and most of them were pleasant surprises. And a couple where, the company grew so fast that there were a lot of things not in place yet when I got here.
Right.
And so there were a couple of things I'm like, what do you mean we don't have that? How are we still working? And so, we put and it wasn't, it wasn't a failing of anyone. It's one of those, if you read the book Blitzscaling and that kind of stuff, I mean, you come in and sometimes things aren't scalable. Right. You need to do certain things big to win up front that won't serve you later on, but you got to do it now. And so that's kind of where the company was, when I got here. And so there were a lot of things where we're like, okay, if we're going to be the real deal, we're going to need to start having some of these things. Otherwise, people are going to, the staff's going to burn out, the agents are going to get frustrated and that kind of stuff. You can only be, camp EXP for so long. So some of that was, I was a little bit surprised. I quickly understood as I jumped in and saw where we were and got a better understanding of the growth trajectory, that it made a lot of sense. But I think one of the big things was, the company operates, and I came from a franchise system, and then from a regional company that had local offices and that kind of stuff, and been in the industry for almost 25 years. And it's always been that office to office, region to region kind of relationships. So having EXP is like one office. Right. So, people go, oh, I really love my broker. I love my office and that kind of stuff. And well, that's really cool. I love mine too. Mine just has 72,000 people in it. So, I got a lot of people to choose from to go hang out with. So my friend group's just a little bigger than yours, but other than that, we got the same environment. But it's the fact that there's still that sense of collaboration and relationship and closeness, both with the size of what we have, and with the virtual nature of the office. Now we have tons of agents. If you're down in the Charlotte area, there's a lot of agents in Charlotte. We have all these pockets of areas where we have dominant market presence, and there's tons of agents, and there's happy hours and local live trainings. So there's lots of in-person, human, face-to-face gatherings, and we're getting ready to hang out with you in Puerto Rico and that kind of stuff. So we have lots of times to physically get together. But when the power of what we have is the access to information, best practices, and ideas, and everything else from people in markets that are not our own, right? I mean, a top producing agent, you guys are top producing agents, you guys come up with a lot of cool new ideas. And I bet it's not that long before you look around and see a whole bunch of other people in your market doing the same thing, right? Because it worked. It worked for you guys. You guys are leaders. It works for you guys. So other people go, hey, that's pretty cool. I'm going to start doing that too. And pretty soon it's not a new thing anymore.
Right.
Not many new things. However, I bet there's somebody in South Dakota. I bet there's somebody in Iowa. I bet there's somebody in New York or Orlando, or, pick your spot, right? Dallas and Sacramento, who are doing something that maybe was unique in their market, and now a lot of people do it, but it hasn't been seen in your market yet.
Right.
So you can attend a class or see a panel or something else and hear from these agents, which we do every day, right? I mean, we've got 75 plus live classes happening every single week. Every week we have our conversations where our top agents go on panels and share best practices. When you can hear, and they're from all over, and they're in Canada, and now people in all over the globe. So we can hear those cool ideas coming from other areas. It's pretty neat. And then when you're in those meetings and you're everyone's got their name, and a lot of times they put their location above their head, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're over here, you're over there, and you're hanging out with people. I look at it and how well I know you guys and how close I feel to you, and the kind of friendship that and everything else. And I think back to how many actual times we have physically hung out face to face. It hasn't been that many times, right? But I mean,
we feel super close. Yeah.
You're a family, right? You guys,
yeah.
And so many of our group are like family. And I would see the agents at the different live events that we do with our company-wide events and some of the other cool events we do, and going to Cabo and that kind of stuff, and hanging out on a boat, right? We got a chance to go out on a boat down there in Cabo and hang out. And it was a sense of family and hanging out with everyone. So there's this tight knit, because everyone is on the same team. Everyone is helping each other out. They're cheering on each other's success. There's this network effect, that happens, and it's pretty cool. So everyone cheers when someone else is succeeding. If they hit icon and they're getting, we know they're getting stock, you're like, hey, awesome. If they've connected and they've brought a new great agent, whether they're a brand new agent that they're excited about, or they're a heavy hitter, or a broker owner that's moving their group over to be part of the family. When we see that happening, it's not like, oh, I knew them, they should have been in my down. Like, that's not the mentality. The mentality is like, this is so great. Our family just got bigger, and I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for the opportunity. And I guess I wonder what we're going to learn from them, and I can't wait to watch them catch fire and go do awesome things.
Yeah. It's amazing that you said that. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. And I'm sure many other people in this company have lived what you just said. I mean, Shelly and I have lived that, from our team growth to our business growth, through the connections, the relationships, the getting to know people on a personal level. We were at another company as well, obviously before this, and we didn't even know the people in the franchise one town away. I mean, we barely knew them. It was very, very siloed. And we used to talk about, going to the national event, getting all excited, coming home, and then sitting back in our cubicle and doing the same thing over and over again. But now it's like the national event comes to you every day, and it's ongoing. It's so exciting. So, I mean, that was just like, you just said exactly what we lived.
And you sit in those, like our sales meetings, right? We do that every Friday, and we get the whole company together and people from all different countries. And if you've got people are in the chat box, right? And they're like typing stuff in and doing whatever. But when you're in there, and I always encourage agents to do this. It's like, going to the company convention, we would always tell our agents, look, bring a ton of business cards, right? Give out a whole sleeve of business cards, collect a whole sleeve back, referral partners for life, reach out to those people, write on their business card something about the conversation you had with them so you remember, then reach out to them and say, hey, it was great talking to you about X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. And I'd love to be your referral partner here. And think about me if you need anybody. And, right. And you have that relationship and you build that and you become Facebook friends and yada, yada. So we can do that. We can do that on a daily basis.
Right.
The people you sit around in the auditorium as an avatar, it's like you don't leave any class or any meeting without personally connecting with those live humans. I know it's an avatar on the screen, but it's a live person just like you sitting in front of their computer who's talking and who's running a business in another city. Connect with them, gather their stuff, connect in a workplace, and build that relationship. And you can do that on a daily basis. That's huge.
Yeah, and the panel members, like we'll be on a panel, and someone will say, "I'm going to follow you," or and I'll say, "I'm going to follow you," and we're connecting while we're on our panel. You know, already getting to like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute! You really are cute in real life."
Your avatar, yeah.
I love your little family or your daughter. You know, we're like literally side texting, messaging in Facebook while we're on a panel. It's funny.
That's so fun.
I love that. And I learned so much because sometimes it's funny, like what I'm really comfortable with, I'll do really easily, but the things I'm not, I'm like, oh, I should be doing that with our team. Like Craig, I told Craig about that. And then Craig's like, oh, well, I like doing that. So then he'll start, it's just fun how it all kind of synergistically and symbiotically works. It's amazing. You were mentioning brokerages, and I'd love to understand, because you were really instrumental in bringing over some very large brokerages, and I would love to know, like, why would a brokerage ever join a major company like EXP? What would be the real reason of why a brokerage would join us?
Yeah, so the reasons are typically slightly different than a solo agent or a small team joining, but it's varied in the same way that it's varied why agents join the company, right? I mean, agents, some it's rev share, some it's stock, some it's the training, some it's the environment, some it's, it's like all the stuff, right? For broker owners coming over, there's a couple of key reasons that I found really driving it. And the way that I describe the opportunity for a broker owner is it's the next step in the evolution. You are a solo agent. You start in your real estate business, you grow your business. At some point, you want either more time, right, quality of life, or you want to make more money, or both. And you reach, as much as you can do as an individual. So you can't sell any more houses on your own, unless you can Xerox yourself, right, and clone yourself. And if you want to make more money, you got to sell more houses. So you're capped out on your time investment. Or, it's like, I could do this, but I'd have to give up seeing my family or, eating to be able to go sell more houses. So you start to build a team, right? You bring people on, it's a leverage point, and you leverage and do all that kind of stuff, and you build a team. At some point, though, you leverage to the point that now managing your team is, if you can't go any bigger on most platforms, no matter how well you structure it and everything else, at some point you're operating where, like, I can't individually pour into these people, and the dollars get sliced and diced pretty small, because in order to do that, you need to hire leaders under you to lead your people, right? You have team managers and everything else. Well, if you're doing that and you're getting less and less of the commission dollars from the producers on your team, because you're putting space between you and the people, just because you want to take care of them and give them enough, enough leadership, right? And so your take gets smaller and smaller. And at some point, combining that split is with the brokerage, even if you're on a really great split, it's just too much. And so then those agents tend to go, okay, well, I'm going to go open my own brokerage, and at least I can, I can not pay that amount, and I could bring on other people that aren't on my team, so I don't have to have as much management oversight and all the responsibility for leads for them and that kind of stuff. So I can have other agents, but when they close deals, I still get paid because I'm the broker, right? So they go open an independent brokerage, and that's a lot of those independent brokers have done that, where other individual agents said, hey, can I come on your team? And you're like, I really don't need any more team agents, but I've got enough of those people asking me that if I just go hang my shingle, then I can have, 5, 10, 20 other agents producing. And when they produce, I'm going to close deals, and I'm already, kind of whatever. So you get the idea, but you find the same thing at some point as that builds out, right? The costs of operating the brokerage, liabilities, even if, well, first foremost, the money again starts getting sliced smaller and smaller because of the expenses that you have to do. Okay. And so it's not at most, we joke about being called a broker for a reason, right? Right. So, but even, we've had some incredibly successful broker owners join. You don't have to be like, man, I'm not making enough money in this anymore. It's grown really big, but it's grown so big that it's decreased my income, which can certainly happen. But there are others that have been successful at a very high level. But one of two things happens in that path. One is, again, I'm either going to give up so much more quality of life. If I take this any bigger to make any more money, then I'm giving up more quality of life because now I have to manage this. Like I have responsibility here. And if I want to give up some of that responsibility to get more free time, I've got to hire more leverage, which again decreases how much I'm making, right? The other side of it is it's super successful, but they look towards the future. I've built something. I've built a great business. Now I'm looking ahead. And when I look ahead, I go, what's my exit strategy? Like it's now become something I can't, typically those leaders are the magic, right? They can't leave. And number one, people are not they're not buying real estate companies in the way they used to. You're not getting a big fat check to sell your real estate company because, everyone understands that the agents can, if they're really tied into the leader, when that leader leaves and is no longer driving it, the agents aren't as tied to what's offered, and they get, offered other things and they leave, right? They don't have that same relationship and everything else. So companies looking to buy are going, hey, we may end up with 20% of what you have right now. So we're not going to give you a huge check. And so that's not as lucrative to do that. And they look and they go, so I built something. It's not as saleable as it was maybe in times past. And, if I hire someone else, if I bring someone else in, is it going to stay together, and do I want that kind of stuff? So, so the next iteration to say, well, and this is the same as many top agents where they say, I'd like to still make what I'm making. I'd like to still be able to make a lot of money, but I'd like to kind of enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'd like to relax a little, or I'd like at least the freedom to step away. Maybe I want to go somewhere for a month or two, or maybe I want to, do whatever, or just, be able to put some more free time into my schedule, but I don't want to give up the money. And so on our platform, when agents are, when they come over and they bring their agents over with them, because they say, hey guys, this is the next place. What's really cool, and I was just talking to someone about this who's a broker owner, and the difference between taking a check for your business and then telling your agents this is where you should go. It's a little bit of a sense of, well, you want us to go there because you got paid, right? Like, how does that help me? Like, you decided that's the company that's going to write you the biggest check, right? But at EXP, we don't buy brokerages. We're not writing checks for brokerages. We're creating opportunity. And so that, and that opportunity works for the broker owner if the agents come over and stay, which means they have to go somewhere that they feel the agents will be taken care of, that they will stay productive and increase production and stay. That's the financial win for the broker owner. So they have to believe in the company. There's a stronger tie to it where they can go back to their agents and say, man, I found a place that that they actually every month take the temperature or pulse of their agents to make sure they're keeping their agents happy and providing what they need, and that kind of stuff. So they provide a great place. They care about their agents. They provide a great place to take care of their agents. They get to continue to pour into their agents and help them succeed, but they do it at a leveraged platform where now I think of it as hiring a management company, right? I still have my brokerage. I'm moving my brokerage over, and I'm going to get a piece of the revenue. I'm not going to get all the company dollar, but I'm going to get a portion of the revenue. But the difference in what you keep is in my mind like the cost of paying someone to manage your do all the liability, handle all the insurance, do all the brokerage stuff, provide all the training, provide all the technology, stay on top of it, do all of that to run the brokerage. But I can still pour into my people and help them be successful and have a personal.
I also love the fact that we're not micro market. I mean, we're in Lake Norman. Say we have a brokerage, or like Lee Tessier, for example, is in Maryland, right? Yeah. So now he's in Texas, he's in California, he's in North Carolina, he's all over the country now, and where he only had that micro market to work inside of, unless he was going to open up another brick and mortar office, which is another set of expenses. So I always find it fascinating when we're talking to the broker owners, the possibilities are limitless, and it changes the whole opportunity for their agents and being able to build something for their future. And I love that about our company, because no matter who you are in this company, you have ownership. If you do transactions, you're an owner, and that changes everything. And it's exciting to see agents within the different organizations, like his group, growing and watching different and other groups too, like our Charleston group, and everyone's kind of and now they're all collaborating and they're building more for each other. It's fun to watch. Watch grow.
For a like it's sometimes there's the misconception that doing that is for someone at the end of their career.
Right.
I'm going to build this up, do everything I can, and when I'm ready to retire, I'm going to bring it over to EXP. Certainly a viable opportunity for those folks at a very high level, right? You get the fruits of your labor, and you get to kind of relax a little bit. But for people that are very driven, this creates a platform where, what are the odds, when someone goes and opens a single location, we know the average independent real estate company size is really small, right? And so someone opening up and being successful in their market, they might have 30 to 50 agents to be successful in their independent market. And some of them may go a little bit bigger. They might have 60 or 80 or 100, right? But they're limited by geography. And if they have a great environment, their agents love it there. They retain most of their agents. They have very productive agents, and it's really awesome. Well, that's great. But how do you feel about your ability to go into another market that's farther away and to duplicate that success? Can you replicate that environment? Can you replicate, all the results that you got somewhere else? It's a big expense to go into a new market. It's all the new licenses, it's all the new stuff, it's everything else, but it's your staff, it's your, the management, leadership, administrative, your space, tools, stuff, right? To go do that. And then you have to try to duplicate that success in another place. And then you want to do it again and again and again. How many states can you do that in and feel good? How much is that investment going to be? And how sure are you that you can replicate that same kind of incredible environment? So you don't have a bunch of lost leaders out there with one mothership that's doing great and a bunch that are kind of okay.
And from our experience, even just from a team perspective, Craig and I have had a team. And when we wanted to think about going into another market, even locally into Charlotte, it meant a whole nother cap, a whole nother, before we could ever even become profitable. I don't know if that's ever changed. That's how it was when we were there. And trying to go into another state was really hard. Yeah. So, like you said, it's like you'd have to take a loss for at least a couple of years before you'd ever break even. In this model, we can be open in minutes. Like if someone wanted to join us tomorrow, we can have them transferred over their license. We help them start growing immediately. That's right. And it's, and your team, like you and Stacey Onan have put together that incredible team you talked about earlier, that leadership group that has created that foundation for us to be able to help these agents get going so quickly. And there's ways to navigate that. And we have all the systems in place. So it's easy to move a brokerage now. We have concierge, we have all of the staffing in place, which is all thanks to you and Stacey and the other leadership pulling that together.
Yeah, I think the, having brokerages move over, the value is, like Dave said earlier, in the agents. And if you lose 80% of those agents when you make a move, the value's not there anymore. But in this model, those agents have the same opportunities that the owner of that brokerage has.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's not like you get a check and they all just go business as usual. It's like, hey, we're on the same playing field here. We can all get stock as we produce. We can all create revenue share. We can all grow together.
And Shelly and I say this all the time, and people in our organization say, it's like, well, now we work for you. Yeah. We work for you, the agent.
That's right.
Like I'm going to help you grow. I work for you now.
Right.
So, and now that owner, even though they moved over, they benefit from that revenue, but now that other agent has that same opportunity and they're going to work hard to grow them.
Yeah. It's the compounding nature of the opportunity is something that, okay, great. I've got 50 agents. I'm going to move my 50 agents over. Well, I promise you at the end of the year, like, in a solo independent, brokerage, you are praying you still have 50 at the end of the year, right? I these days it's so competitive out there and agents move around and it's hard as a smaller brokerage to compete from a tech standpoint and tools. And so you're fighting to keep your agents. The splits are getting smaller. Your income is getting smaller and that kind of stuff. So you're, very often you're making less year over year because you're spending more to provide for your agents. You're trying to compete with what the big companies offer. And agents are earning better and better splits over time frequently too, unless you have some kind of a capped system like what we have in companies. So you're hoping you have the same amount of agents that you're making the same amount of money. But in this model, if you bring over 50 agents, by next year, it is fairly certain that you will have many more than 50 agents, and the income level has increased, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not as responsible for
The
that.
liability goes down, the income goes up, and your agents have more freedom and
Yeah.
time freedom. I mean, it's a brilliant model, and it works for everybody, whether they're a new agent, experienced. There's something this company offers everybody, and we all learn from each other and keep building.
I had a great team join my organization, and they are right heartbeat, right? I mean, such a good fit for us, and they love to help others succeed. And they would bring in newer agents and coach and mentor them and teach them and help them get leads and coach them through doing the business and help them turn into really great agents. And then what would happen? Those agents would become successful and they would get repeat, and they would be doing it with their sphere and all that kind of stuff. And they'd say, hey, I'm ready to fly on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And while they were happy for those agents, all the time and money they had invested in those folks, they no longer had any benefit to the continued success other than feeling, pat yourself on the back. We help those people, but financially it doesn't help you. In this model, they came over and they said, we don't want to stop doing that, but we'd sure love to have some, some impact. But, and so now they're able to continue to pour into other agents, bring people in, help them build a great business, teach them how to do it. And when they're ready to fly on their own, they leave their team, stop paying a team split, but they continue to earn revenue share from these people as they succeed and become these powerful agents out there who then go build their own businesses and their own team and attract others. And they create this ripple effect where everybody's really winning and they can continue doing what they love to do. But, they kind of were like, hey, we can't keep doing this because we're not building a legacy ourselves outside of EXP. Inside of EXP, they build a legacy.
Right. It's pretty incredible. So where do you see like your crystal ball for EXP? What does Dave see for us?
Oh man. So what's really cool, I know we talk about this a little bit, but people kind of say, well, have I missed the boat? Right. I mean, where are we on this? And it's kind of funny because we've had incredible growth, right? I mean, this is industry leading growth. This has never been done before. And we've expanded now 18 countries and all of that. There's so much going on. The stock, took off, the stock split and everything else. So, people look at it and say, well, the opportunity's kind of gone. There's already a bunch of people in my market, et cetera. But when you look at it, I mean, 72,000 agents worldwide is so small. We have the opportunity to be a 1 million agent company. So, I do think, and I heard Glenn say this as well, so I don't feel like I'm speaking out of turn, but, I do, see the opportunity for us to hit 150,000 agents by the end of this year, right? So, to go to 150,000, you're talking about, doubling our size again, and maybe a little plus, but doubling our size. We'll continue to open in some more countries. We'll continue to get traction and growth in the countries that we've just opened in over the last year or so, under Michael Valdez and his leadership and his team. So we're gonna continue to see growth outside the U.S. and growth inside the U.S. But where are we? 1.2, 1.4 million agents in the U.S. or something, right? So, to have roughly 60,000 agents in the U.S. right? Out of all of those, I mean, the opportunity is huge. And there are stuff like, I'm outside of Philadelphia. In this general area in the Northeast, we still have many pockets, and this is a heavily concentrated area. There's lots of people and lots of agents and lots of houses here. And there still are many pockets where we are EXP who. I mean, I tell people that are, even some consumers, and they're like, I never heard of it. And then you talk to agents, and to have an agent go, yeah, I think I've heard of EXP, and my mind is blown. I'm like, I'm not sure what they're doing. But the bottom line is that just shows that we are just scratching the surface, and there's so much more opportunity for growth. So the company is going to continue as we know it's all about the people. The right people come into those markets who pour into others and create those moments that really turn the tide. It's, if you read Malcolm Gladwell, right, Tipping Point. You get the right combination of people together, and it just boom, and it hits. And I've watched it in the markets all across the U.S. just really take off and happen. So we have so many more markets where that is going to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. So there's opportunity there. You still go back and look and say, from opportunity penetration, even in our most populous markets, we still have so much room for growth in every one of those markets. So much opportunity there. People are getting into the business every day as well. So we have all of those other agents coming in. So huge opportunity for growth, massive, massive opportunity to continue to spread the word. The company is continuing to be extremely profitable. All of our stuff is public, right? So you can look, all that information is there. You can see the cash flow that's there. It's being reinvested on a regular basis back into the company to provide better tools, better technology, to constantly be looking to the future, be very agile as a company, and provide more for our agents. So, there's just going to be more and more tools, more and more access to stuff and everything else. So more for the agents to grow their business, providing stuff that's for the future, right, as well, the way clients work and the way agents work to make it easy on them. So that's going to be there. And then the other side I'm going to say is that, the stock that you get when you sell houses, right, you're gifted stock when you sell homes, right? You have all these different ways and milestones to earn stock. That's stock in EXPI. And EXPI is the parent company. It's EXP World Holdings. So EXP Realty is, of course, the predominant company under EXP World Holdings. But, we bought our platform, our Virbela, our metaverse that we've had before, Facebook metaverse, right? We've been doing that, and we have the government, the Department of Defense, and many branches of the military use our platform for all kinds of things. We have the largest, online retail company uses it to train their employees and to create an ecosystem for themselves to grow their business. Some of the top universities and systems across the country utilize our platform, and hundreds of companies are utilizing it right now to run their businesses. We run one of the largest real estate companies in the world on that platform, right? It's a great business platform. Well, that platform, Virbela, is owned by EXPI. So when you get stock from selling houses, you're getting stock in Virbela, right? You're getting stock in EXP Realty. You're getting stock in Virbela. We bought Showcase IDX, and they're building out some incredible things where we'll be able to compete with some of the top data firms out there within the industry, and that's part of EXPI. And as we're building out, we partnered with Kind Lending, right? So all of that and the profitability being driven by new mortgage relationships and title relationships, that all goes into what's owned by EXPI. So I can't make any stock promises, but I can tell you that we're still in our infancy as a company. We've been around long enough, and we're big enough that we've shown that we're not a flash in the pan. We're not going anywhere. But we've built structure. We've got great people. We continue to bring in great leadership. And I have so much confidence in the people we have, and the people that continue to come in leadership, and the agents that we have that are pouring in, people like yourself, and hopefully now people like me, being able to contribute in from an agent standpoint, right? And so doing those kinds of things and pouring in, the company will continue to grow and iterate and build, and that should be impressive out on Wall Street, and create stock opportunities. So the growth, the revenue share, the financial viability, pouring money in and continuing to create some of the best tools in the industry for agents, and then that's the stock opportunity. All of those things, it's still so new that if you're not in yet, it's one of those things where you can say, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. But the other, I'm going to throw out a couple of more cliches at you, but they say, what's the best time to plant a tree? Well, the best time was 30 years ago, and the second best time is today, right? So the best time to have been part of EXP. I look back for at Gene and the stock value when he came in, and I'm a little jealous. But hey, when I came in, it was $5 a share.
Yeah.
So I still feel pretty good about that. But we've got an opportunity since it's split that brought the value back down again, the cost back down again.
One of the agents this morning was saying, she said that the stock, it's on the charts, it's like a buy stock. It's telling everyone to buy us. So from what her indicator was this morning, I was like, I like that. I mean, I want to buy.
What do you do with a great, solid company that because of industry and financial pressures that are external, right? We're not any less profitable. We're not having any problems as a company. The company is succeeding like unbelievably, but external pressures are driving. You look at NASDAQ, you look at all the numbers, right? So external pressures drive it down.
Yeah.
What do you do when that happens to a stock in a company that
because that
to me, so
and we're in a great position. It's exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited. In fact, one of our really good friends, Craig and his friend James, he just icon. I'm like, it's an awesome time to icon, man.
Oh my God. Yeah. There's so many more shares for your money right now. Everything is a value. So yeah, really, really good opportunity for that for sure. And it's a fun time because the agents really get a chance to impact the direction of the company, right? With the NPS, when you do those NPS tests, or not tests, the feedback, right? And most people have done this. If you're not familiar with it, right? You've done it when you go shopping or, do something else and you get an email back and it says, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer us to a friend or family? And then there's a little dialogue, just click, a score from 1 to 10, 0 to 10. And then you do and then you have a dialogue box that just says what most influenced the score that you gave us, right? And you just type in whatever you want, or you just don't type in anything. But our agents put in those dialogue box, what they love, what they don't love, suggestions. I mean, they might give us a 10, but also go, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? And those are all that we have a really cool platform that are on, a third-party platform that takes all this, and it's all confidential, right? So we don't know, it's all anonymous. But it goes in there and it slices and dices it. And anything where people are unhappy, that goes out to leadership, it goes out to the departments that those people mention. So we can see where do we have opportunities for improvement. And those are talked about every single week. Yeah. Every week we look at the NPS score, our overall NPS score and the NPS scores for the different departments to see how each department is rating and where we are and to make changes. So the agents have a chance to impact how we improve the company or things we don't like. Everybody loves this. Have you ever been in a company where I loved this and then they stopped doing it one day? Well, if that's something that keeps the agents happy, the company's not going to change it because we don't want people leaving.
Right. Yep. Sometimes we don't put value on things that other people put value on. And without NPS, you don't know it. I remember Glenn standing on stage and saying, like, I know that that's a target for him because he talks about it a lot when he's in events and talking. So,
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say that's a super important thing. Anybody that's been, a manager or within a company, like if you don't know that stuff, one day you wake up and someone's gone and that's too late. So try to keep a pulse on things. And we try to do that within our own business as well. It's important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, well, tell us Craig, do you have any last questions or parting thoughts or anybody want to share anything?
I thought your question was a great, the crystal ball question was fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
I was up close listening to what he had to say.
It's so funny. The whole time, all three of us have been like this. When you're leaned in to have a conversation with somebody, you know that it's going to be a good conversation. So I love having Craig as my business partner and like the person to go through this world in business with. And Dave, you've been amazing to us. And we have always when your name comes up, I know this sounds like for show, it's not. Literally, like when your name comes up, I feel good about, it was good knowing we had leadership like that and you've got the right people in place and now you're a part of the tribe with us and we keep on going forward. And I'm excited to see you and Kristen. Is Kristen coming too?
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. We're packing. We're upstairs getting packed. We're getting ready to go.
Good. Don't bring any.
We'll miss you, Craig. We'll miss you guys.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
He's coming to Cabo. He's going to be Cabo. Holly's coming to Cabo. And
Holly's going to be there too?
Yeah. Yep. Holly's coming too. Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. We'll be there. We're looking forward to it. And, it's going to be fun. We had an amazing year ahead. I mean, it's just, I can't wait to see, what happens and where we go from here. It's going to be fun.
2022 is our year, everybody's year. So good. This is going to be so much good, Kevin. Oh, that's so nice. That's Kevin.
Oh, I got you, Kevin. Love you, man.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. Appreciate your friendship, your leadership, everything. Hope to see you soon. So thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks.
I appreciate it. So fun hanging with you.
Yes. Bye, guys. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.